Hey guys, welcome back. Bomb here, bringing you another live deck analysis. This is customary, so after we record all of our TCG stuff, or I guess post-record our TCG stuff, we do deck analysis of the decks that we profiled on the channel. And you know, I really like Alolan Muk. I had high hopes for Alolan Muk, right? Because I think Alolan Muk's a cool card, and the deck that we played, it was actually really fun. This is going to be very different than the last two that we did, so if you guys want to stick around and do me that favor, that'd be greatly appreciated. But we are definitely doing Alolan Muk, and I have to tell you guys about the cards that are different and what I would change, because although you guys have only seen one battle and you might see another one at the end of these two deck profiles, we've done 5, and I've done a lot of testing with this Alolan Muk deck that day. And there's a couple changes I might want to make. And why does my phone always go off every time I'm recording? It's only when I'm recording too. Anyways, all right, let's get right into the deck profile. First things first, ignore these Grimers. They're going to be the new one from the from Burning Shadows. I just didn't have any yet. I opened 35 packs and didn't pull a single one. You guys saw in the video that we were using Devons as a substitute. But Grimer's cool, 80 HP, weak to fighting, same retreat cost, but its attacks are different. You have Division, which means you can actually get a Grimer, a Alolan Grimer from your deck and put it onto your bench, which is the preferred thing because it's a free attack. It's just another way to increase your consistency as far as Grimers go. And its second attack, DCE, I believe, does 30, so it's actually not too bad. So we're going to be playing 4 of these Grimers for sure. All right, let's see if we can get those on camera. Yes, we can. They look pretty nice. There we go. We'll put them all the way down here. I am recording, right? All right, cool. I'm recording my audio. All right, now we play 3 Alolan Muk GX. Now, if you guys don't know, this is a Japanese proxy printed from front. Regardless, they're a little bit sloppy looking. They're not like the other ones, but Alolan Muk GX is pretty dope. It's got 3 cool attacks. Darken and DCE means does 10 damage plus 70 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So when we combine it with Salazzle, which we'll go over later, we do an extra 140 damage because that burns and poisons, and then means 150 damage with Choice Band, that's 180, and then post burning and poison damage is a guaranteed 30. You're doing 210. 210 is a lot of damage. You can knock out Ninetales from full. Anything that's 210 XP or less. So the only Pokemon that you can't really knock out are most stage 2 GXs and Alolan Muk in the mirror match, funny enough actually. But they will be knocked out the turn after they end unless they retreat, and Alolan Muk GX is a high retreat cost of 4, which is a little bit uncomfortable, which is a little bit not great. I'm not gonna lie. We do play 2 Float Stones, you do play 3 Guzmas, you do play, in this deck right now, 2 Ace Rolls, although I am going to talk about what I would change post post this analysis. So we're going to play 3 of those, and we're going to be playing 1 of these. This guy is actually the hero of the deck. This is Alolan Muk from Sun Moon base. Having the ability to turn off the effects of all basic Pokemon is really strong. You guys saw how this card by itself shut down Tapu Koko, which I think is a very good deck in my testing. Is a very powerful deck, but this card by itself shut it down. You'd think it'd be easy to Guzma it out, but without Secret in the format, if you happen to just draw into all your Guzmas early game and have to Sycamore them, then you're not in a good place. It's also good for turning off Lele's, and it makes setup just in general very hard for a lot of Pokemon to pull off successfully. So Alolan Muk, great card in this deck on top of the Alolan Muk GXs. Just put that right there. Now I am playing a 3/3 line of Salandit Salazzle. This is purely for the poison and burn that the status condition gives you. We don't play any fire energies, we can't attack with it. It does have a handy dandy 1 retreat cost, so it's not too bad if it gets stuck in the active at all. Also, they're beginning to get off screen, so let me go ahead and let me just scoot everything over slightly. There we go. But that burn poison does make Alolan Muk's first attack do the damage that it needs to do. And by the way, I completely forgot to talk about the other 2 attacks, but that's pretty much your main, that's your bread and butter attack. That's what you're going to be using the whole game. The other attack is Crunch for 120 for 2 dark at DCE. So that's whenever you just can't hit off the first attack because you weren't able to evolve into a Salazzle this turn. So you just kind of use that second attack either for stall tactics or just to get off an KO, because with Choice Band you do hit 150. So that's actually pretty handy. And then it's the third attack, Muk GX's attack. It's I forget what it's called, but it has the ability to burn, poison, and paralyze one of your opponent's bench Pokemon by making them active. So it's really good. The issue with it that I have is that I hate GX attacks that paralyze your opponent now, because there is Guzma, Acerola, Super Scoop Up, Switch, Escape Rope, Russian. There's so many ways. Olympia, if you want to count Olympia, although no one's playing Olympia anymore. There's so many ways to just get out of that. There's Pokemon Center League. People apparently are playing that now. I don't know why, but there's too many ways to get out of status conditions for me to think this is a good attack. It is a free GX attack. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there is no energy cost there. It's a free GX attack, which is actually really, really cool. But at the same time, it's really pointless too, because I do have my grievances about this card for that reason. Because you want to have an energy attached, because next turn you're probably going to either want to attach the dark energy or the DC that you didn't attach the following turn, so that after you use this GX attack, you can abuse it using your first attack. But it's free. So I mean, like, it's cool that it's free, but it doesn't really serve a purpose as far as like setting up the field, you know what I mean? And I'm sorry that like everything's awkward because I have my camera to the left of me and my camera to the in front of me and my mic to the right of me, and I don't really have a lot of space to put cards down, so it might look a little bit ugly, but forgive me, whatever. By the way, I love how people comment on my other deck videos. It's like, oh, where's all your other cards? Like, where you're like in my Gardevoir one is really funny. They clearly didn't watch the video, and how I mentioned about how like, my energies, you know, for people that only watch the video will see the energy count, because a lot of people commented just like, oh, where are your energies, bro? It's just like, obviously you skipped to the end of the video, so it's like whatever. So yeah. So hashtag hot poison for those of you that are watching the full video. Only those of you that are watching the full video, give me a hot poison. You might get a gift, who knows. All right, and we have a couple more Pokemon. We do play a one-of Tapu Koko. I actually like Tapu Koko. In the Gardevoir matchup is really nice because you do that extra, whatever. You do that extra 20 damage that you need to do on the field for a banded Muk to get a KO on Gardevoirs, which is actually really handy. And it's free retreat mon. There is no free retreat mons in this deck, so I really, really like it for that reason. Now, ignore this, the EX. Imagine this to be the GX. Now the GX is something I really don't like, but I threw it in the deck video. I threw it in the video for the matches. It's the reason why I played it is its GX attack, which if you ignore this card, just imagine it's a Darkrai. Imagine Darkrai GX. It has the Resurrection, which means you can put it from the discard pile and a Dark Energy from your bring the Pokemon from the discard pile to your bench and attach a Dark Energy from your discard pile to the Darkrai, which is really nice. And it's a 3 energy attack, so you need 2 more Dark Energies to attach to it to get the attack off. There's 130 damage as an attack, and its GX attack is if a Pokemon is status condition, it gets knocked out. So that's really handy combined with Salazzle. The issue that I'm having with the card and the issue that I have with this deck right now is bench space. It's so hard to get down 3 Muks, 2 Salandits, and have a bench space for another card, because usually you want that bench space for something like Lele, and you want Coco down as well for free retreat and flying flip. It's really, really tough to find room for something like Darkrai. Maybe late game, but overall, I think because you're hit, since usually by the time you're using Salazzle's ability, you already get a knockout with Muk, and Muk's actually easier to set up because it only involves a Dark and a DCE. I mean, to be fair, the same amount of turns are established with Darkrai, so I guess technically Darkrai is easier to set up, but it's still, I don't know. We'll talk about what I would remove and what I would add after we finish every card. But Darkrai, if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it like me, then it's easily replaced. And then of course we do end it off with 2 Lele, you know, standard 2 Lele deck, what I feel like needs to be in every single deck right now. So there you go. Now let's go into the supporter line. We do of course play standard deck, 4 Sycamores. So I have to stretch all around my mic to make this happen. We got our 4 ends, you know, standard stuff. Because, you know, draw support is important in a deck that involves DCE, evolution, getting your combo cards like Super Scoop Up and things like that. We are playing 3 Guzma because Guzma is Guzma and Guzma is good. It's just like it's literally a game-winning card, just like Lysander used to be. So we are playing 3 of those. And for this deck, I'm opting to play 2 Acerola. You will see how we might want to change that near the end of the video. But Acerola is just good. You know, denying knockouts is always really, really good. Deck space is an issue. That's why I'm only playing 2, because I would play 3 usually. And of course, we are playing our 1 Bridget to get out all of our Pokemon. I know we have Grimer's attack to bring out more Pokemon, but being able to use Bridget to get out Salandits and Coco and things like that is always very strong. We are going to be playing, as far as our items go, for Ultra Ball. Let me get all the items. Hold on, guys. Okay, we are playing for Ultra Ball Standard because you want to get your Pokemon as easily as possible. We are also playing 4 Super Scoop Up. Just another way to deny knockouts, but more importantly, you want to put Salazzles back into your hand so that you can evolve a Salandit into a Salazzle the following turn to abuse its ability over and over again. And the one of items we are playing 1 Field Blower, 1 Rescue Stretcher, 1 Energy Lotto, and 1 Super Rod. Now, Field Blower I kind of want to bump it up to 2 because getting rid of Fighting Fear Belts, it could be nice in this deck because it's really annoying sometimes. But for the most part, I think 1 Field Blower is fine. Rescue Stretcher and Super Rod, great for recursion. You want to put those cards back into your deck. Late game, it could be really annoying. Sometimes you want to sack off your Salazzles just so you can put them back into your deck and reuse them. Super Rod is good for dark energies because once again, Sycamore, you have to play Sycamore, guys. Like, people are misunderstanding how important Sycamore is. You have to discard your hand sometimes just to get some sort of movement going on in your deck, and so you have to put back cards from your deck to your hand sometimes, since you're going to be forced to play that way. So and Energy Lotto, I love Energy Lotto. I'm not too sure if I'd keep it in this deck after I make a couple of my changes that I'm going to talk about later. But Energy Lotto is a great way to get DCE. It makes it a little bit more consistent. Since we don't have VS Seeker, we can't guarantee getting cards as easily as we used to be. So Energy Lotto is a good way to just get yourself that energy. I've actually used it a couple of times successfully in this deck. And as far as tools go, 3 Choice Bands because we want to hit those numbers that we talked about earlier with Muk, and we can only do it with Choice Band. And let me just get Super Rod in picture. All right, cool. And we want 2 Float Stones. Here, let me actually fix this. 2 Float Stones because everything has such stupidly high retreat, and Float Stone gets around it. Acerola gets around it as well, but I just feel way more comfortable playing decks with Floatstone. Not to mention, the issue with this deck is that you have to be constantly attaching to a Muk every turn. You can only afford to attach to Muk because Muk is your main attacker, and Muk always needs at least 2 energy attachments, sometimes 3, sometimes even 4 if you can't find DCs and you want to use Crunch. So you have to be attaching to a Muk or a Grimer every single turn, so you don't have time to attach an energy here or here or here if you're trying to retreat. So Floatstone's a great way to get around that, having those pocket Floatstones. And of course we are playing, let's see, there's no real room, but we'll put it all the way to the side. It should be easier for you guys to see, right? 7 Dark Energies. 7 is a fine number. I toyed around with 8. But I found myself not having the deck space for 8 and not really needing the deck space for 8 either. We can put these right here. You guys can count them, like they're off screen, but that's fine. And of course we have our 4 DCE. Standard stuff. But yeah, that's the deck list, guys. I know it's a little bit harder to see, but as is the best I can do right now. Maybe I can I don't know. You can't get everything at once, essentially, and it sucks, but whatever. This will work though. So that's the deck list. Now, let's talk about how I feel about the deck list first. I feel like Muk is a prime contender. I don't think it's S tier by any means, because you're still focused on combo pieces that you have to play. You're kind of annoyed by Garbodor, although Muk does have a psychic resistance and you hit 120 with Crunch, which is actually really nice because that means you don't get O-code by anything. But although Drampa is an issue for you because you have to attach DCE, so your Crunches aren't going to be as useful if they keep getting rid of your DCEs. You have room to play things like Special Charge in this deck if you feel like it's necessary, something that's worth trying out. I really like Coco in this deck. I feel like it has a decent chance against most decks in the format. Even Gardevoir, although you have to have 3 energies attached, but you're 220 HP. In order for Gardevoir to knock you out from full, they need, if you have 3 energies attached, they have to hit 220. So that's, they hit 210. They have to have, I think they had, no matter what, they have to have 7, 14, 21. Yeah, they have to have 7 energies attached to both of them. It's 8 energies or 7 energies in a choice band. All right. That's a lot of energies. That means they have to have either 4 energies attached to them and a choice band, or 5 energies in order to knock you out. And that's assuming you don't want to go the muscle dumbbell route. I personally despise the muscle dumbbell route. I don't like people that think that's a good idea, because what's the point? The point is you want to get knockouts. There's no other Pokemon that, like, if you add things that would give you more status conditions like Raichu, you're literally just clunking up the deck, and you're relying a lot on landing them, and you're relying on having the bench space, and I hate all of it. So I don't think muscle dumbbells is the way to go. I think you have to go choice band. I think between Koko and Muk, if you just get off that one good hit with Koko, you'll be able to knock out a bunch of Gardevoirs later in the game with Muk's attack. You have GX for stall, although I don't recommend a GX attack. Darkrai is also another attacker that you could use if you want to just knock out a Gardevoir from full, because of its GX attack. It could be worth it. What else? Dark is a decent typing. You are weak to Marshadow, but with Alolan Muk, you literally turn off Marshadow's ability. So you can keep Alolan Muk on the board, Marshadow isn't an issue. There aren't really many relevant fighting type decks right now. People are thinking about bringing back Zygarde. I don't know about that. Machamp GX isn't that great as a deck, although it is something I definitely want to play because you can combine it with previous Machamps to increase the damage output, which I'm a huge fan of. So I definitely want to try out Machamp at some point, but I don't know how good Machamp's going to be. Lycanroc, I think Lycanroc's decent, but nobody's really explored Lycanroc yet, so that's something to keep in mind as well. So the dark weakness, or the fighting weakness, isn't that bad, especially combined with the Alolan Muk, so Marshadow isn't an issue. What else? What other big decks? Volcanion. Volcanion has to do a lot of charging out, unless they have a Ho-Oh set up. You can knock out Ho-Oh from full though, as long as you have a choice band attached. So that's something to keep in mind. Speed is an issue with this deck. In a slower format, I really like it. So Volcanion could be a bit of an issue because Volcanion's a faster deck. Darkrai is not too scary, because once again, it takes a lot of energies on their side of the field for them to knock you out, and then you can knock them out even without a choice band, as long as they have the burn poison damage on top of them and they don't have fighting fury belts. So I'm a huge fan of Alolan Muk. After seeing how, like, it's not that hard at all. You really only need 2 turns to set up a Muk, which is actually not too bad considering how fat you are and how you can just deny knockouts with Super Scoop Up and Acerola. So even if they don't successfully knock you out, you can, if they don't successfully knock you out, you can just put the whole card back into your hand and completely deny the knockout, which means they won't get any prizes from it. So that's what I like. Now, as far as the changes I would make to this deck, things that I found, things that I really want to try, and I'm actually gonna pull out my binder for this one because it's actually in here, and let me get it out. I have my play binder on hand at all times. Fun fact. But anytime I want to change up my decks before a tournament, I have my play binder. But there's one card that I feel like could potentially take this deck to the next level that I want to test before I put this deck on PTCGO. And that is, you guys can hear all that gross brand new binder smell. I actually got a brand new binder, and it smells great, but it sounds sloppy, you know what I'm saying? And that is Po Town. Now, Po Town, whenever any player plays a Pokemon from their hand to evolve one of their Pokemon, put 3 damage counters on that Pokemon. So, I know what you're thinking, but you're going to be damaging all your Pokemon, Aura. Why would you want to do that? And there's one reason alone, and that is Acerola. Now, obviously, these are AZs, not Acerolas, but you get the idea. Acerola, because the issue that I'm having with this deck is Super Scoop Up does not guarantee Salazzles back into your hand. And I'm not a lucky player. So if you can guarantee damage on your Salazzles so that you can use Acerola to put it back into your hand at any given moment, that is something I would 100% consider doing. So, plus it gives you a Stadium, which means you're not gonna, between Field Blower and Stadium, you have a higher chance of not ever losing the Stadium War. Po Town's another way to weaken decks like Gardevoir, Greninja, so that they're put in range of your attacks without the need for Tapu Koko. Now, I still personally like Tapu Koko in the deck because Tapu Koko gets you, it gives you free retreat. But if you would want to, between Acerola, you can maybe add another Floatstone over Koko if you're going to be doing the damage. Because I don't know of any basic Pokemon that can survive Abandoned Muk. And I can't think of any evolution Pokemon that can survive after. Actually, to be fair, Metagross could with Rare Candy. Actually, rare candy decks would probably survive. That isn't Gardevoir. Metagross could be an issue too. Maybe Coco is still worth playing. Maybe it is. But I know for a fact I would take out Darkrai. I would take out one Scoop Up. And what else would I take out? Because I know I wanted to take out 4 cards so that you could play a third Acerola. And oh yeah, I would take out Energy Lotto for sure. Let me get this all out. Because Energy Lotto, as nice as it is, it's just a luxury card. You don't actually need it. It hasn't won me any games yet. To be fair, it just helped me set up. Although I have won most of the games I played using this deck, to be honest. And we do this, these 2. And that would be the 3 cards I'd take out for Potowns. Now, at this point, like, you kind of have to decide. I bumped the mic there, my bad. You have to decide what you would play to put in a third Acerola. Because if you're going to play the Potown idea, you might as well abuse it and play a third Acerola. You could take out a Super Scoop Up. You could take out a Coco. You could really... But that's about it, really, because you need your 4 Ends, 4 Sycamores, 3 Goosebuds. You need those. You need Bridgets. If you have less than 7 Dark Energies, you're in a bad position. You need your 4 DCE, 4, 3, 1, 3, 3, 2. That can't change. So the only thing that could change is items, but you need your full Ultra Balls. Super Scoop Up's in the air. Coco is in the air. Super Rod, Rescue Stretcher. I feel like they're definitely necessary, although you could take those out if you need to. Field Blower, I kind of want to bump that up to 2. Having 0 would be really bad. So personally, I would try this. I would remove these for a third Acerola and those 3 Potowns, because I feel like 2 is not good enough, especially if you want to get off your strategy. I feel like 3 is exactly what you would need, but that's just me. Let me know what you guys think about the deck. Let me know what changes you would make. Muk is an interesting card for sure. I love the deck. It's just really reliant on its combo pieces, which I'm never a huge fan of decks that rely heavily on their combo pieces to be pulled off. But Muk is definitely a deck I'm going to keep in my play binder, because I know it's a deck that I'm going to win a League Cup with, because it's a really fun deck to play. Drop a like if you have not already. Subscribe, share, all that good jazz. Let me know what decks you want to see me play in the future. I definitely want to do Noivern versus Alolan Ninetales at some point. Maybe that'll be the next live deck match we do between 2 decks. I'd have to build them, but that shouldn't be too hard. I have to find Noibats. That's the issue, is finding Noiverns and Noibats. Or not finding Noibats. I have copies of Noiverns already from Japan. But regardless, drop a like, subscribe, share, all the good jazz, and I will see you guys next time.